Hi, my name is Marietta Mahani, and this week's Aqua Tip is a stretch. Now there's lots of ways that you can stretch in the water. It can be dynamic, it can be static, there's things where we just move in and out of motions just to release through the body. But if you're after a stretch and you have a noodle with you, you might be interested in checking this out. So the noodle is between my legs, and all I'm going to do is very simply lift up one foot and place it on the opposite knee. So I have my right foot on top of my left knee, and I'm using my arms to skull. Now what I can do is bring that knee up higher by driving up with the left leg. So the left leg is pushing upwards. That's what I'm doing. I'm pushing upwards with my left knee. Now what you can do to help with that is actually straightening that left leg. If you straighten that left leg, that knee will start to come up. But it's very important that you're using your arms by the side of your body to be able to keep your torso forwards, because the goal here is to stretch out the glutes. Right, so this is my right glute that's getting a release. I can also hang on to that foot and pull it up. So I can pull it up a little bit higher up the thigh if I like, and use the right hand to just skull. So here's a couple of different options depending on your participant's flexibility. But if you're using the noodle for the whole class, why not also incorporate it into the stretch? And I find sitting on the noodle this way much more effective with doing the glute stretch than using the noodle across underneath the chest, because I feel like I'm much more supported. Of course, then you just simply swap sides and go to the other side. So I've grabbed onto my foot and I'm pulling it up a little bit higher up my thigh, which I can do. Yes, because I've done a great workout in the water and my body is more pliable, more flexible. And this arm's really important to stop me from, I suppose, floating around into other people. So very, very simple. It's just a little stretch. I was a bit excited by finding some different ways to use the noodle for the end of my class rather than the standard, hold and release and that sort of stuff. So that is this week's Aqua Tip. Stretching with pieces of equipment isn't something that I've done a lot of Aqua Tips about, right, Russell? And I was a bit excited about discovering some different ways to use the noodle to stretch with. This one you'll need a chair to demonstrate with, and what you'll do is pass the noodle underneath the chair, because sitting on the noodle this way, trying to demonstrate with your class, sure, you could do it, but it's so much easier if you sit down, because it replicates the movement that they will be doing as well. So pass the noodle underneath the chair, so it goes between underneath the chair. And what you'll need to do, of course, is place one foot up onto the opposite knee. Now, in this position, the noodle may actually move around a little bit because you are, wanting to demonstrate that you can let go, or you can use your hand. So all I do is I just angle the noodle. So this noodle, it's actually bracing up against the back of this chair. Russell, you're in the way, man. You're in the way, dude. So it's actually braced up, but you might not find that the back of your chair has that there, and so it's going to slip through. So what you can do is you can also grip the noodle slightly with one hand. So if you're holding the noodle, you're holding the ankle up, and you're using the opposite hand, you can just grip it with your thumb and place it here. So it looks as close to what your participants are going to be experiencing in the water. Remember, the goal is for them to feel the stretch in the glute of the leg that is performing that figure 4 action, and they can lean forwards a little bit to enhance that release in the buttock. But it's such a good one because they manage the intensity of the stretch by how much they lift up the opposite leg that's underneath. So they can drop that leg down a little bit more if it's a little bit too intense. Otherwise, here's your glute stretch. I love it. I love it. I really like this because it was just such a comfortable position to be in. The noodle supported you in the water. So from a demonstration point of view, not difficult. You will need a chair, of course, and pass the noodle underneath so that you are not in any sort of major discomfort by sitting on the noodle. And that, my friends, is this week's Aqua Tip.